My name is Chris Bress, and I'm Director of Learning Through Technology for Charlotte County Public Schools. We're a school district on the southwest coast of Florida. We have 17,500 students and we serve 21 different sites. I'm responsible for all instructional technology, including managing the wide area network and all the local area networks. You know, the challenges of being a tech director in a public education environment is a lot like being a tech director in a major business. I mean, we have users. When I look at it, I can have as many as 20,000 different users that log on to approximately 7,000 computers throughout the day. Having a WAN in public schools is critically important because years ago it was interesting that everybody was an island unto themselves. But the scope of business in education has changed significantly over the past decade. It's kind of hard for us to imagine that 10 years ago we might have even only had a 64K or 128K connection, where now we have 100 meg full duplex or maybe even gigabyte connections between the schools. Now, that type of speed is important, but what's even more important is that we optimize the connections between the schools to make sure that what we are passing is business critical to what we're doing. You know, in education, just like it is in business, you want to make sure that you're good stewards of the money that you spend. And so you want to be able to guarantee to your school board, or maybe even your board of directors if you're a member of the business community, that what you're passing is good quality data. And so with Blue Coat, one of the things that we do is we monitor the traffic and then we can accelerate it as well. The advantage to that is you don't need to buy as much bandwidth as often because A, you know what's being passed, B, you stop passing what shouldn't be passed, and then C, you enhance the way it's being passed. Visibility of what's passing across your network is critical to any IT director. And the reason is you don't know if somebody is downloading student grades or if they're downloading an illegal MP3 if you don't have visibility on the network. One of the most important things about being a tech director at a school district is the ability to stop malicious traffic. It's kind of interesting, but I run the biggest network in my entire community, you know, because we have 7,000 PCs that could possibly be running all at the same time. You never know. So if one student is doing something malicious, it can affect a lot of other students because they could be bringing down all sorts of spyware, malware, viruses. And if you allow that type of traffic onto your network, it can spiral so quickly that it'll take your tech department days, if not weeks, to clean up the aftermath of something like that. So the beauty is to make sure you don't allow that kind of traffic on your network in the first place. One of the things Blue Coat helps us with is distribution of video. There's a website that a lot of school districts use called United Streaming. What we've done is we've decided to host that locally at our district office. We have 9 terabytes of instructional videos that's coded to our Sunshine State standards. Now, one of the beautiful things about this is any teacher on any campus can type in the standard that they're working on that day or that week and search for high quality video content that meets their instructional lesson. Now, what Blue Coat enables us to do is when they go to pull that lesson down, it pulls it down to them at the speed of our network, but also stores it locally. So as long as the content remains fresh on the caching server, the next person who pulls it down will get it at the LAN speed. Now, some of these videos can be quite large. We're talking 50 to 100 megs, to sometimes 200 or 300 megs if you put in the higher res videos. It would not be possible without Blue Coat to be able to allow them to download them or stream them during the school day because it would have too much of a load on the wide area network. We do a live video feed twice a day from our Port Charlotte High School out to our Lemon Bay High School about 20 miles away. And what happens is the students interact as if they're one class. WAN optimization gives lots of benefits to a school district. One of them happens to be in centralized applications. You know, in the old days when you only had 128K connection between the schools, you couldn't launch anything across the wire because it would just grind to a halt. But now, with faster internet connections and WAN optimization, that is no longer the case. So we actually house several applications at the district office that's shared among multiple sites. That enables us to do a lot of cool things. First of all, lots of times we can save money by centralizing the server and delivering the licenses to individual schools. The second thing is it gives us one point of management. We don't have to go out and do updates at individual schools. And that wouldn't be possible if we couldn't accelerate the traffic to the point where the end user can't tell the difference. Because public teachers, I'm sure like most people in business, are finicky end users. If they feel that they have to wait around more than a few seconds, they'll start to complain, or even worse, abandon a very good product. So it's the job of the tech director to make sure that doesn't happen. And then once you've made that decision, I say, go ahead and invest. And then before you do, take a metric of what performance is like before. And then once it's installed and running, take a metric on what it's like afterwards. Because when you go back to your board, you'll be a hero. Because what you'll be able to show them is by putting in a capital purchase of buying some hardware, you will make a massive operational savings. Now, I don't know if the business world treats their money the same way that we treat our money, but capital money is easier to come by than operational money. And so by being able to spend capital dollars to save operational dollars, you're instantly a hero. Once we put the Blue Coat systems in place, we could lift that barrier. And what that does is it unshackles them and allows them to teach as they want to teach without having to think about the technology. You know, it's my job to think about the technology. They shouldn't have to worry about it. And so that's a huge advantage.